It's my turn on the community episode. I'm going to share with you my story and how it ultimately led to the opening of the Academy this week. So stay tuned. Hello, welcome friends to episode 168 of the Play Guitar Podcast. I'm Lee, and this is the podcast that's determined to make you a better player. No matter if you're starting out or you've been playing for years, this is the show that will help you become the guitarist that you always wanted to be. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and check out the description for all of the links from the show. Well, I had a few different ideas of how to handle this week on the podcast. So this is launch week. It's been fun. It's actually just beginning, but I've been getting it together all week. It's been exciting. The Play Guitar Academy launches this Friday afternoon. And I thought good idea was to have someone who's actively going through the Academy who could share their history with the guitar and give a little bit of experience in the Academy. That'd be a good idea. And I think that's a good idea. I'm still going to do that. That's going to be scheduled soon. But I thought, it's time. I've shared a little bit about myself and my journey with the guitar spread out over a bunch of different podcasts, but yeah, and you can piece them together. But talking about yourself publicly is pretty difficult. I ask people all the time, members, to come on the show and share, and it's a very uncomfortable thing to do. So for those who have done the community podcast, I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate all the members who are come in so far, but turnaround is fair play, and I'm on the block today. So I'm going to share my journey with the guitar, and I'm going to keep calm in the process. And at the end, maybe a bonus section at the end of the podcast, I'll tell you all about the Academy and how these experiences we're going to talk about led me to build it and bring it to you. Okay, but before I start, I'm going to take a look in the comments, see who we've got here. Coke, of course, was first. He was here before I was. That's awesome. Chris is here. He says he's working but watching. Exciting times. And let's see here. Jim's here. Evan R. Kevin. David's here. Dean says the hot seat. Yes, I'm in the hot seat today. And Marty's here. Hey, Marty. Great to see you, man. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out today. I was hoping that I would have time to get some embarrassing pictures, but I didn't have the time, so those will have to wait. I didn't have the time. Right? So, okay. So let's go ahead. Let's get to my story. And I've got my outline here because you need an outline to remember your life. I don't want to forget any of the details, right? So, my life, it's not too different than anyone else, really, up to a point. So I started wanting to learn how to play guitar at 12, and it was more than that. It was actually not just wanting to, I had to do it. I was, as they say in the southern part of the United States, I was ate up with it. I would draw guitars on my books at school. I would spend my time buying guitar magazines and learning about all the different guitars. And finally, I guess I drove everyone crazy. I was given an old acoustic guitar, and they let me loose with it. And it was a mess. It hurt my fingers. It was unbearable to play. Didn't sound great. And I remember after trying it out a few times and figuring, when I figured out there wasn't anything that I could do to make it better, I was defeated. It was terrible. So enter me driving everyone crazy, my first electric guitar. I had a lot of asking for that. It was an Ibanez Roadstar 2. It was a Strat type guitar. I played it for a while, and I went crazy with it. My dad's stereo had a 1/4 inch input. I talked about this recently too. So I would play it through my dad's stereo and the headphones. I did that till it wasn't cool that I did that anymore. And it was known that I needed some amplification. So I purchased a Gorilla practice amp, and I got a tuner that came with it too. It was a banana tuner. It was the 80s, okay? So we're just going to let that slide. But I played for a while. I quickly realized I was going to need some help. I was going to need lessons. So this is step number one. This is the first step towards where we are today with the Academy. I had a teacher, and I went for a while, was excited, and I learned a few things. But after a while, I started to feel lost. This wasn't like learning in school where, you're learning what you're learning, but you can see where you're going. You have a good idea that where you're going is going to amount to something. It was pretty disjointed. I thought, well, maybe this isn't the right teacher for me. So went ahead and got another teacher after a while. And the same thing happened. Except this time, there was a very strange atmosphere to this. I started feeling like that it was all being made up on the spot. Like each week had nothing to do with the other. And sometimes in middle of the lesson, it would just switch gears, right? It was being all made up as it went along. So I stuck with it for a little while, but eventually I decided I'm going to go ahead on my own and learn. And this is a pattern for me. I would have periods of being taught by teachers and then stretches of time where I was self-taught, where I would spend the time thinking about things I had learned and trying to make sense out of all of it. So the next phase for me was in high school. And high school, for anyone who played guitar in high school, it's a very exciting time to be a guitar player when you're in high school. Super cool things happen when you play guitar in high school. I joined several bands, and I was learning by necessity. I would do whatever it took to get something together so that it sounded good for whatever I needed it for. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I was playing. And then if you needed help, either it's lessons or it was songbooks, tablature books. And those are usually, I don't know if you've ever checked those out, but usually those are nowhere even in the ballpark of what you're trying to learn. But if I could get something that sounded close to the songs that I had to play out, if it sounded vaguely similar, to the song I'm trying to imitate, I was happy. So my opinion of guitar teachers wasn't the greatest. I was wanting to know why the things that I was doing well, I was wanting to know why they worked. But I didn't think, I just need to get another teacher. I was pretty down on that. I didn't think I was going to get that from lessons. So the second step towards where we are at the Academy right now, which was very pivotal in my guitar journey, was in high school. I joined the jazz band. So why would I do that? Why would I join the jazz band? It was not because I knew anything about jazz or liked jazz at the time at all. It was 100% because I had friends who were in the jazz band, and I found out that I would be able to play guitar at school. That's why I joined. This is the big second step. Through jazz band, I found out something very important. The school I went to had a music theory class. Bam. And I could get into that. So I said to myself, are you telling me that in school I can take 45 minutes every day and try to learn why the things that I couldn't figure out on my own worked? I was in. I was like, yes, please, let's do it. And I loved the class. I absorbed everything. And here's the funny thing about that. I could see that what I was learning made sense. I could see the path forward in music theory. I could see how I could be good at music theory. That was very clear. But there was another problem with that. I couldn't see how most of what I was learning was applying to the guitar or was applying to the music that I liked to play, popular music. So I was at another kind of place again. I was not quite there yet. I had my guitar. I knew enough things to get by. I was learning music theory, but I couldn't see how something like a Neapolitan sixth chord was going to help me in the music that I was playing in my band. So over time, I started to get a little bit better. I put the pieces together of all the little bits and pieces I was learning. I continued on. I played in the all-state jazz band, and then I went to college. In my freshman year in college, I went to a normal school. I was a math major, applied math major. But when I went in to pick my classes, I picked every music class that I could do my freshman year. And I got into all of them. So in my freshman year at college, I would have finished out everything. I took the jazz theory class. I was in the university jazz band. I was the guitar player for that. So this takes me to step 3 towards the academy. We played in the jazz band. It was University of Delaware. We played a concert, and we would have featured musicians come in. And this time there was a phenomenal guitar player. His name was Tony Ventura. And he was the guitar player for someone named Ben Vereen. Ben Vereen was a triple threat. He was a song and dance, and he, was on TV, everything. And through that, getting to know Tony just from that one gig, I took a few lessons from him. And that really hit me because at that point, I was able to ask questions and also take lessons from a professional guitar player, which I had not had the opportunity to up until this point. And it was eye-opening. I would ask the things in the lessons that we're doing or whatever thing we're learning theory. I would ask him. I remember asking this many times. Do you actually use this when you play a night of music? When you go and gig? And he would let me know which things were directly for a night of music and what other things were kind of theory, right? That was a big aha moment for me. That's where things started coming together. I could see things that were universal to all types of music. And then I could see things that I was learning that were specific to a certain type of music, which is important to know and not something that's told. And it was continuing to make sense. And so at this point, I started teaching on my own a little bit, and I started figuring things out, putting things in order. That was 33 years ago. So Tony recommended that I check out University of the Arts. And I did. And I left where I was and I transferred there. And I soaked up everything. I was in a music school and I was loving it 24/7. Lived right there, right by the campus, and played music, learned music, was around musicians. And my goal always was taking the things that I learned and trying to relate it to the music that I wanted to play, the music I loved. I went there. I was a jazz guitar major, but there was something else offered. They had something called an emphasis, which is kind of like a minor, right? And that was computer recording, which in those days was MIDI. That's what they had. Performer was a software package that I used. Now it's called Digital Performer. It was before the digital part, right? But I was learning through that how to create music. And then I was also learning how to teach people how to create music on the computer. I was a student teacher for that section, for those MIDI classes. And I would teach people from the fine arts and, people from dance, and they would all come in and take these kind of intro to computer music classes. And I was the student teacher for that. And that gave me a big step up in confidence. That's where I learned that I could teach, and I enjoyed it. So after there, it started. I graduated and I went on the road. I was playing blues. I was playing gigs. I was playing festivals, and I would teach and I would travel. And it wasn't always even like that. Sometimes I would just be gigging. Other times I'd just be teaching. It would just kind of ebb and flow. But I kept coming back to teaching, and I kept trying to figure out how to explain how to play this music I love, popular music, through all of the theory and all of those things. How should I do that? So eventually I started my own studio. And I taught group lessons. And this is the last big step to where we are right now. This is when the internet happened, and learning guitar online was big. It had really taken off. And I found something. The students I was teaching were having some different problems than I was used to dealing with students. It was totally different. They were playing things that were pretty advanced, but they had absolutely no idea what they were doing. And they watched a video, they mimicked what they saw, they got the tab, and they had no idea that what they were doing was getting them deeper and deeper and deeper stuck in the mud. But they learned how to do this shiny new trick. It was so different than what I had experienced teaching since I was 18 years old. It was completely different. Usually then you'd have a new student, and if they were brand new, it was a blank slate. And if you had somebody who had a little bit of experience, they knew some of the basics already. There was still that progression there. Now it was completely different. I didn't have one student who was a blank slate, who had never played. All of them had gone on the internet and typed in how to play guitar. So the problem started from the moment that they started. So I spent years in that studio, and I learned what the problems were. I learned how to fix their problems, and I learned how to put it down, what my flow to fixing these people's problems. Plus it was in groups too. And learning in groups has a whole different dynamic as well. But I learned how to put everything down systematically in a plan. These are the worksheets that you guys see. And I'd use the same ones class after class. And I could use those for people who were totally lost. And it wouldn't take much to fill in the cracks just to go back through the worksheets. And so these groups were being put into a real musical situation. We were learning the fundamentals. We were building things. And then at the end of each, if you notice, each of the levels are 12 weeks. At the end of each 12-week level, we played real concerts with a real rhythm section. And we played for real people. We played for over 100 people for each one of these concerts. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. But I had a problem with that. And my problem was, it was wearing me out. It was very hard to keep up with. And I wanted to use this plan that I've come up with, this method. And I wanted to branch out to other people, but there's no way I could do it. I was exhausted. It was all I could do to keep up with the people that I was teaching at the time. So that's when I decided to go online. And I didn't really know how to do that. I knew how to go down and rent a place and put an ad in the paper. That's what I knew. So I was starting to learn that. But the bottom line was I knew the one thing I did right was that I knew that I wouldn't be teaching anybody if people didn't know if I didn't get out there and start helping people. So that's when I decided the podcast would be a good thing. And then after the podcast, then the coaching would be a good thing. So out there, just doing it, just start helping people. And that brings me to today. So there it was. There's my story, right? I'm on the edge of releasing something that if you think about it, that I didn't really know it at the time, but I've been putting this together in one form or the other for 33 years. So it's an exciting time. And it's a little unnerving going through all that, but I think I did it. My outline helped to remember, so I had a flow to it. So that means, this Friday, we're going to find out what problems that the Academy deals with. Who people are coming in, they each have different sets of problems, but I've been doing something on purpose. I've been looking for the people who are the most frustrated, or the people who just really want to play the guitar so bad and it's just not working out. And I target that. I targeted the frustration that comes with playing guitar and not getting any better and not knowing what you're doing, which are those are the things that I know from my own experience. And I also deal with some other things, some other problems that people might not know that they have. I deal with those unexercised muscles in your hands and your wrist, and also those unexercised mind problems that modern guitar students deal with that wasn't always the case. I also take guitar students who feel lost and I put them on a path so they can know what that feels like, so they can know what even small wins feel like. So you can start to build momentum or even know what momentum is. I fix the cracks. So that's been my plan through all of this, these three things. The unexercised, the technique of it, the thinking of it, getting lost guitar players on a path, and filling in the cracks. So that comes to the Academy. It's just a vehicle for something that I call the roadmap, which is what I've been talking about all along. It's, at this point, a succession of 9 12-week courses that build week after week after week. And they make the strong foundation that you need to hold your own as a guitar player. And I think that's a really key phrase, to hold your own. And why build this way? And so one of the things that I've found for studying this is that what's different than when I started teaching is that people have they've jettisoned the idea that it takes time to build something valuable. They don't want any part of that. And the guitar takes time. And I think learning the guitar is valuable. And I know a lot of other people think so too. Now think about this. You can learn all your chords. You could learn all your scale patterns. All that you would ever need to know to play any of the songs that you like. You could learn them in 1 week. But would you be a good guitar player after that week? 100% no. A normal person could not retain 90% of that if they crammed it all into 1 week. It would go in through your eyes or through your ears, and it would disappear. It probably wouldn't even make it to the end of the last day. In a matter of hours, it would be gone. Spending quality time and committing the skills that you're working on using repetition. The power of repetition is something I repeat over and over again. It's the only way to own these skills. And the people who are far along in their playing know this. If they were to look back in their own playing, they would see that that period of time where they used a ton of repetition was the biggest jump in their playing. Here's the biggest disconnect with that. When you see a guitar player out there playing and having a lot of fun, is it put on? Is it fake? Are they faking it? They might be, but I don't think so. Guitar is really fun, and playing guitar is really fun. But it's not fun when you're struggling, is it? And it's not fun when you're unsure of yourself. And that, I think, most of us are familiar with. So those players that have spent so much time just repeating their skills over and over again, they're on autopilot. They don't have to think. The music just flows out. And that's where the fun is. In this roadmap that I've put together, the skills that you need build upon each other. So the first important thing of that is order of learning. Order of learning is super important. It's one of the most important things to be a musician, order of learning. And I've structured that as best as I can in there. But I've also added repetition to it. The power of repetition. And when you have those two things together, structured order and repetition, that's where the gold is. Everything else you're doing can just fall away because you see, you feel, and you're living what progress is. And it builds on its own. It's addictive. You could just join the academy, and you could if you wanted to, because there's a lot of videos, you could pick and choose through all of the lessons. But that would be the wrong approach. That's the YouTube approach. That's where you would shortchange yourself. And so I thought, okay, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to? People are coming in and they're used to just kind of picking and choosing, and this is different. This is not that. How am I going to do this? So I've made a series of videos. It's called The Narrow Path. And you guys who are in there already, you can check this out. And this series of videos helps people take stock in where they are, where you are on a path towards success on guitar. And once you watch them, they will put you at an appropriate stage. And at the end of each video, it recommends a range of some of the levels that are on that path. That will be your starting point. That's going to be the toughest thing, I think, for everyone coming in, is to find, well, where's that starting point, right? So that's what these help. From there, you can look around, feel confident, that you'll in that kind of section that it recommends, look around in there and find the place that you feel comfortable starting in. The narrow path, it's going to either confirm that you're right about where you are, or it's either going to make you realize you have some earlier things that you need to brush up on. I would think it probably very rarely would think that you're farther along than you are, just from experience, but it could. The next part of the academy is the community aspect. All this stuff I talked about today, every single thing, it has all come about from talking to people, actual people. Everything I've learned, everything I've put together has been learned from and deals with people. We are all having a hard time right now. We're suffering, whether we know it or not, because there's a lack of interaction. Anything rich in my life has come from an experience with someone. And when I've been part of a group of people, that experience plus it adds comfort and it adds even bigger benefits. I know that when I learn in a group, once the initial kind of figuring out, how it's going to work, I learn easier in a group. So I thought, how can I also incorporate being a part of a group in this? So in the Academy, we have our own, it's a private, it's not on Facebook, but it's a Facebook-like forum. And this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to be there keeping everything together. Any questions that come in or observations, any recommendations, any of those kind of things, I'll be there, and there's a place for that. There's also different sections for the stage that you're at once you go through the narrow path videos. And that's where you can get to know other people who are on the same path as you, and you can share experiences, and you can, just have fun there. There's also a place for general posts as well, just a hangout place there too. So the best part of it is we already have the community. We already have what I think these people right here is the most helpful guitar community. Any of you have been in other guitar communities online? Not quite this helpful, huh? So I'm, you're not supposed to be proud of anything, but I'm very happy that this group of people has come together. And so all these people are already in there. They already have access to this community. So that this community is built right in. The couple more things, and then I'll go ahead to the chat. We're going to have live streams each month. I thought, how can we keep everybody on the path? But as you all know, especially this time of year, at the end of winter, right before spring happens, that's when guitar playing and practicing gets kind of stale. A lot of your mind wanders. You're ready to go do some other things. How can I keep everything new and exciting? So each month we're going to have a live community call. So I'm going to go live just like I'm going live right now. And I'll have a master class prepared, or I'll have a bunch of questions, or I'll just open it up for any questions that come in. Also have some fun hanging out. We might have some watch parties, those kind of things. So every month there's going to be a live community call, and it'll have something up to date, maybe topical, and something fresh that each month is important to what we're going through too. And because of this software right here, I can invite community members in very easily. I can instantly send somebody a link and they can pop in. So we could meet some cool people that way too. And then finally, the most, memberships that I've seen that get stale over time are the ones that I leave. But what we're going to be doing is adding new things every month. It could be new levels in the roadmap. It could be have a section for bonus lessons, so maybe a shorter mini lessons in there. It could be answers to common questions that I video the answers for. The point is that the Academy is going to grow and bring value every month, and I want it to grow. Even after you fix the cracks and then you're on the path, I want to have new exciting things for you as well, so that you feel like you can come back there. So bottom line is for the players who felt trapped, and now this could be a place that they could call their own. And why would you want to be trapped? Why would you want to be stuck when you can see that there's a way out of this thing? That playing guitar doesn't have to suck. You can see it right here, I'm looking in the chat and I know just from like the 4 or 5 people here that I'm seeing, that 2 of them have been playing out. One of them's getting ready to play out. You can see that they're already playing out, putting this stuff to good use. So why would you want to not get a part of that? Okay. So that's the story, and that's why I've done all of this, and that's what's available to you. It opens up this Friday, and just for this launch week, I have it set up for $19 a month. That starts on Friday, and you will be able to get the discounted price until Tuesday, the 23rd, next Tuesday. After that, the price goes up. So make sure you grab that. And also, I've had a lot of questions about a guarantee. A lot of emails come in already. There's a 30-day guarantee. So if you're interested and you'd like to just check it out, there's nothing to lose. You just send me an email and I'll cancel the subscription. And it's really easy for me. I just click one button and you're refunded. Okay. So if you'd like to get in on Friday morning early, because it opens Friday afternoon before the doors, I have a list that you can join. It's the first thing in this description below. So if you look at the description, that very first link, that's the early list. And I'm planning something for those list members. I'm going to do maybe an early community live stream before we open the doors too. So, don't tell me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the chat for a while and hang out. Thanks for hanging with me today. If there's any questions at all about this, it's lee@playguitarpodcast.com. So, okay, let's go on to the chat. Enough about me. That is not my most favorite thing to talk about. So I'm going to go start from the beginning here. And let's see, I ended with Marty. And let's see here. Facebook user says, good to see you too. I'll find out who that is after the live stream. Evan R says, here's to launch. Beer. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Evan. Man, that first guitar moment. Yeah, it's no good. It's no good for anybody. Well, not anybody. I guess some people get lucky and get a really nice guitar, but Gorilla amps. Have you seen them? They were these little practice amps, about like this big. They were black like a regular practice amp, but with bright yellow writing on it, and they had a switch for overdrive, and it was probably the harshest overdrive you ever heard. It was just beautiful. It was awesome, especially with the bridge pickup on a Stratocaster that was not a humbucker. I was getting tough. I was toughening my ears up. Evan says he remembers that. That's right. Les is here. Hey, Les. Great to see you. Evan says he got lonely over on Facebook, switched over to YouTube. Don't forget to like the video. Yeah, everybody, please like the video. That really helps, man. Let's see here. Evan says the more loose ends you grab, the harder it becomes to pull it all together. Yeah, it does. It does. It took me a long time to figure stuff out. It takes a while. It's not obvious at all. Dean says the path has really helped me. Fantastic. And Evan says me too, Dean. David says if playing guitar was not so fun, I would have given up a while ago. Yeah, but you know what, man? It is fun, and you're gonna hit a couple milestones where you're gonna say, "Man, I'm so glad I stayed with it." Most of the important things in my life were brought about by guitar or centered around guitar. It's a very wonderful thing. Let's see here, and David says the more you learn on guitar, the more you realize what you don't know. But you can add to it. That's the thing. Keep up what you have and add to it over time. Evan says, I always liken it to when I took martial arts. Sensei would tell us that a black belt means you finally know enough to really learn. I hadn't heard that. That's pretty good. Evan says, let's make that forum jumping. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna be there. I mean, I'll be in the other places too, but that's I have some ideas about how to really show I'm in there on a daily basis. I'm going to pop in there a good bit. Evan R says, are the narrow path elements out there for us to prove? Yeah, it's all there. The Academy everything's there. I have a few like beginner videos, like how to tune your guitar and stuff like that I have to upload. And on Thursday, I'm going to do all the text for all of the levels. So right now I don't have any of the, underneath the video where you'll write about it. That's the only thing that's left for there. So Evan says, I love this community. Yes, it is fantastic. It is really fantastic. It's the best thing about all the work I've put into, or what's it been? 2.5, 3 years? Yeah. 2018 and February, it's been 3 years. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Go find a jam that keeps it going. Oh, we're also at about, for the podcast, we're I think we've passed 500,000 downloads. That's a ridiculous number, isn't it? That is just something. Dean says, I think this community is great. Also, thank you, Dean. I think it is too. It's great for you great to have you as part of the community too. I've really been enjoying it. And let's see. Evan says, I want to be a mainstay even when I feel like an advanced play. Yeah. And let's see. Evan says, never mind. I see Narrow Path on PG. Yeah, I put it up a few days ago. And Evan R said, are current members part of the new launch or should we re-enroll? No, you as a coaching students have access to everything. So when coaching came out, if you look in your library, it should all be there. So, you're talking about the launch. Let's see here. So I have emails going out every day, but they're all tagged for certain people. So like if you signed up, if not you guys are already in, but if the people who signed up for the pre-enrollment, they will be excluded from the rest of the pre-enrollment. So they won't get anything up until Friday. On Friday, when the Friday morning, I'm going to send just a done by hand email to let all of the pre-enrollment people in. And then when the main email goes out, everybody gets that. Just so that the Friday when the doors open, everyone gets that. And then after then, there will be different emails all the way till Tuesday, which is the end of the launch. And then if anyone's, you won't get those because you're already signed up. So it knows if you're already signed up and it won't send those there. So, but you don't need to re-enroll at all. You're in good shape. You have access to everything. David says, would like to see an area where we see members playing stuff they have been learning. Gives a boost to see players improving. Yes. So I'm going to log in right now. Let's take a look at this here. Let's see if I can get in the easy way. I did. Okay. So I'm going to share this screen. And you can see where we're at right now. Okay. So this is the new dashboard here. Actually, new menu systems. Most everything's new as far as the functionality of it. So on the left here, you see each level. Well, we have narrow guitar path explained, which is 6 videos. Then we have a section for live community calls. That's going to be something I'm going to do soon. Some bonus trainings. And then we have, let's see, we have Start Your Guitar. That's the 101 course that is being folded into the Academy. So that's going to be something that I don't think I'm going to sell that separate, although I may change my mind later on, but especially in the beginning. It's part of the Academy now. So 101 is the first level, and here's each week. So I have each week of each of the levels that you can click to super easy. Makes it really easy to walk around. Coming soon stuff. And then here's the community, which is just what we have done a little bit. Not a whole lot in there now, but as soon as my workload goes down, I'm going to be in there a lot. So we have the Introduce Yourself section, which a lot of you have already started using there a while ago. And then let's see, there's a general discussion that's for, anything. And here's the 5 stages from the narrow path. So each one of those has their own section. And then we have here, share your playing with the community. So this was a while ago, but some of us started to use that when I first put it up, but I haven't mentioned it since then. So that'll start getting used a lot. And then the other section is share your ideas about the Academy. So if there's something that you'd like to see, something you have a question about, something that you need help with, or something that just to bring to my attention, that's a place for that. And all of this can be seen in topics like this, or you can hit feed right here and it'll show you just from when the last topic is there. Okay. So that's the community. And then we still have our link to go to coaching. And what will happen, coaching folks, we have a meeting tomorrow. It's at 11 a.m. If you can't make it, just watch it when you can. And I sent an email today about that. So we're going to be taking coaching and pushing it up a notch, getting some more value out of it. And we're talking about that tomorrow. But when you hit the coaching, right now it goes to the coaching forum. There's probably going to be some more added to the coaching section. And when a regular video student comes in here and they press the coaching section, they'll either get a sales page or they'll get a waiting list if I'm not taking coaching students. So that's how that's going to work. Let's see here. Marty says the roadmap is great. Made more progress and understanding if the guitar made more progress and understanding if in the guitar in the past year than the previous 5. Awesome. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And it shows too, man. Your videos have really, really come along. It's good that they're all up there. You could go back and I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to go back and watch our first videos and check that out. That would be fun. Let's see here. And David says, that's where I started Start Here Guitar. It's a great place to start. Yeah, we've had a good bit of people go through Start Here Guitar. And it's still up there. They still will have access to it. David, you'll have access to the standalone Start Here Guitar, but I'm moving it into the Academy. I think it's nice to see the path, start from this is it, this is Start Here Guitar all the way through. And new stuff will be coming soon. So there we go. That's it. That's the whole deal. And it's exciting stuff. We have the live stream tomorrow. We have a surprise live stream for the early bird members. And then we're going to launch. At that point, I'm also redoing Play Guitar Podcast. So a while ago, Play Guitar Podcast was kind of rolled into the Academy site. And that is not going to be the case anymore. So everything, all the podcast stuff, the fun stuff, it's all going to have its own website. And it's all going to, all the way I had it before will be there. So we're separating the two out. That's it. I tried it for a while this way. It didn't work the way I would like it to. So we're going to separate that out. So I'll be this weekend hanging out with folks who have signed up early. And then I'm also going to have some time to get the other website going. Okay, so that's what's going on with me. Not my most favorite thing to do today, but I think it went okay and helps you guys are in here. And so I'm going to go ahead for the podcast and call it That's a Wrap. Thanks for joining me today for the Play Guitar Podcast. Make sure to hit the button below to subscribe to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my content as soon as it comes out. For more episodes, lessons, and ways to get involved with Play Guitar community, visit playguitaracademy.com. Thanks again. I'll see you on the next episode. Okay. And Dean says, congratulations. Hope the launch is a great success. You know what? It's already doing well with the pre-launch things, better than I thought. And we'll see how it goes. But either way, if it does great or if it just starts, I'm happy. I'm really happy that it's going because I have something now to build on. So So thanks, Dean. I appreciate that. David says, hope all goes well. Success benefits us all. That's right. That's right, man. And let's see, said, sorry, I'm trying to figure out getting your podcast. Okay. Yeah. It's, I'll be in touch with you, Steve. I'll be in touch with you and we'll get that figured out for you. And Coke says, how is coaching structured? Right now, coaching has been, basically I'm teaching the levels and getting feedback by video. So they'll send a video into me, upload a video, then I'll watch it, and then I'll tell them what to do next. And then I'll also goof around a little bit, say hi, and it's a good way to, it's a good way that you're not having to be on a Zoom call and all those things, and you can go back and rewatch these things. And it's worked pretty good. But right now, all the levels have been filmed. So it's kind of redundant now. So I have some really, really, really good ideas of how to take coaching up to the next level, which is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really excited. The more I think about it, I'm excited about it, but I'm not going to say anything until I get to talk to all the coaching students. And I like to hear what they have to think and what you think, Coke too. What do you think would be super valuable for coaching? All right. And Evan says, I'm happy for you. Thank you, Evan. I'm happy for you too, man. You're tearing it up. You are tearing it up. Good stuff. Good stuff starting to happen, right? It's one of those times. Okay, everybody. Thanks, Evan and Coke, Steve, David and Dean, Marty. Great to see you, Marty. Let's see. Who did I miss? Les was here earlier. Great to see you, Les. Kevin. Great to see you, Kevin. And Evan R. And let's see. Jim was here early. Hey, Jim. Good to see you, man. And Coke. And Chris. Chris is working too. So happy working, Chris. Hope everything's good. Thanks, everybody. I'll be in. Hopefully, I get to see some of you tomorrow at the at the coaching, and I will probably see you before the week on that too. Oh, and Coke says guided sounds like what would benefit an advanced player. Yeah. Okay, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.